Hello, amazing artists. I am super happy to see you today in art class. So, I want to remind you what we did today. And if you want to, you can watch the video again if you already came to art class. And if you didn't come to art class, then you can check out what we did. So, we started with our affirmation. Our special tool right here. My heart is open. My ideas matter. I am an amazing artist. I am loved. Take a few breaths. No matter how old we get, it's super important that we say our affirmations. Remember to check in. Remember to take some extra breaths. Get our imaginations open and ready. Ready for being creative. So, if you remember, last week we had a visitor from the Palo Alto Art Center. If you are still finishing up your bubble letters from last week and the signs you made with the community advice, go ahead and upload them on Seesaw. They were looking totally beautiful. I loved reading your advice. I loved hearing what you asked your families and communities about advice they might have. And I loved seeing your beautiful and colorful work that really stood out. So super proud of that. If you haven't put it on Seesaw yet, go ahead and put it on Seesaw. I would love to see it. And this week, we are going to be doing something different and fun. We are going to be getting ready for this beautiful autumn season where the weather's changed. Next weekend, we'll change the clocks. They'll go back an hour. It'll be lighter in the morning and darker in the evening. And on Saturday is Halloween. And it's okay, even if you don't celebrate Halloween, but also on Saturday is a full moon. And in this autumn season, we like to celebrate also the different fruits and vegetables that are growing. So a lot of times in the fall, we see pumpkins because that's when they grow and they're ready. So today we're going to be drawing some pumpkins. And like I said, pumpkins are just something that helps us celebrate the fall. It's not just for Halloween. So if you don't celebrate Halloween, no worries. If you do celebrate Halloween, then you can have fun with this too. So I am going to try to share my screen here today and try something a little different where, great, I can share with you my dot kit and my materials. So I brought this little pumpkin. I went to the pumpkin patch this weekend and I got this pumpkin and we're gonna work on drawing pumpkins. So if I notice, if I really look at my pumpkin, I see all different shades of orange. I don't just see one shade of orange. And I even see some brown in here. I see some yellow. I see some dark spots. I see some green on the stem right here. So, and some brown too. So this is beautiful, made by nature with all these different shapes. So I'm gonna put it down and have a look at it while I do my drawing. You might have a pumpkin at home that you wanna look at while you do your drawing too. Or you could do it from looking at what I'm doing, or you can do it from your imagination. But some things we wanna think about is we want to think about the way like we're a tiny ant walking along our pumpkin. So let's give that a try here in a minute. 1 second, friend. All right, so every pumpkin has a different shape. And I'm gonna pretend like I'm a little ant that is moving around my pumpkin. So your pumpkin might look different than mine if you decide to draw your own pumpkin that you have at home. My pumpkin is a little bit long, kind of more squished and flat than a regular pumpkin. And it has these curved lines right here. I'm gonna look at. And it makes a little bump on the bottom too when it comes down like that. This one bumps in here. So I go all the way around. Then at the top, get my stem. You see how I have that little dent that comes down in there? See that dent in there? All right, now my pumpkin is not just one shade of orange like we were talking about before. It's all different ones. So I have these different color oranges, and I start with a lighter one. So I start with this color right here. I'm gonna add that first. But I'm not gonna put it in all the spots. I'm only gonna put it in some of the spots. Because I noticed that different areas are lighter on my pumpkin and some areas are darker. So just gonna fill it in, different parts. And I'm gonna come back with this one called yellow orange. Has a little bit more yellow parts in it. So I'm gonna fill in some other areas. And I'm starting to fill in all these white spaces because I do have lighter spots on my pumpkin, but I don't really have any white spots. So I really want to fill in my pumpkin. Now I'm gonna come back through with this one. This is like a more neon orange kind of color. So I'm gonna get in those extra spaces that I already mixed with this. And this is gonna give me some bright spots. It's gonna make it look almost like the sun is hitting my pumpkin or the moonlight is hitting my pumpkin and making it shine a little bit. And I do definitely have some shine on my pumpkin. So I wanna make sure that stands out. And now I'm really just filling in those extra spots. And I'm not really being exact, but I am kind of like blending my colors together and giving it a different kind of look than if I was just using one color orange. And you might only have one color orange, and that's okay. You can also do this with one color orange in your pencil, or you can just look at the lines and color in the lighter and darker parts with just your pencil. You can do this with color pencils too. Actually, I like to mix the two. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna come back on top of my crayon with a colored pencil. So I got this orangish colored pencil, and where I did the pencil marks before, I'm gonna come back on top of them. And then I'm gonna do something like blending in with this. So I'm gonna go on top of my crayon, lighter and darker in some spots. In some spots I'm gonna press harder, other spots I'm gonna press lighter. And it's gonna give me a nice shaded effect. Shaded makes me see that part of it might be, like I said before, in the sunlight or moonlight, and part of it's kind of like in the shadow. And then I'm gonna get some green, a green crayon first. I'm gonna do the green crayon on my stem here. Then I actually have a green colored pencil. I'm gonna also get some different green color in there, because I noticed my stem has all different green colors in it. All right, but now I noticed something. My pumpkin is floating on my page. And I don't know about you, but I've not seen too many floating pumpkins. So if you've been in my art class before, sometimes we talk about this. Let's give our pumpkin a place to sit. Where is it? Is it on your doorstep? Or is it in a field somewhere? You get to choose. And that's part of how you're setting up your scene. So mine's gonna be more in a field. So I'm gonna get some green, and that green is gonna touch right to the bottom of the pumpkin, different spots. So I'm also gonna come in with some brown that you'll see in a minute. So I'm gonna come in with some green and really make sure that I know my pumpkin is sitting in this field, or maybe it's a pumpkin patch, right? Maybe some of you went to a pumpkin patch this weekend with your families or some grown-ups, some friends. So I got the green, and then I get the brown. And again, the brown is gonna come right up to the bottom of my pumpkin. It's gonna come right into the green, because sometimes there's some grass or there's some vines in a field, and there's also some dirt. So we're getting the dirt and the earth that's in your pumpkin patch. And again, if you're doing this as your doorstep, what color is your doorstep? You know, you can do the paint that's on your front steps, or maybe it's cement. So you might want to do it with gray. Maybe it's sitting on your rug or your kitchen counter. So get whatever color you want in there. And you fill it in as much as you want. You could even put another pumpkin here or there, whatever you like. But that's kind of the idea, so that it's sitting on something. It's not floating anymore. And now I'm going to do the same thing with the background of the sky here. So I have this really pretty color that I like a lot. It's called blue indigo. And it kind of reminds me of the nighttime sky. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to touch the outside of my pumpkin. So because the sky is going to touch right down to my pumpkin. And I'm going to carefully go around the edges here. Now, if you have a different background, like I said, you might have your porch as your background. You might have your kitchen. So you get to decide. You might have a spooky scene. But give your pumpkin a place to live. So now I start filling it in. Now, if you do something like this, if it's the night sky, you might want to have a moon or some bats or an owl or a ghost flying through the sky. It's up to you. Or other pumpkins or some trick-or-treaters. Or it doesn't have to be a Halloween scene, like I said. You might have some corn stalks, like that's another fall. You might have some squash. I have this cool one I got the pumpkin patch too. You might want to draw something like this, which is really cool next to your pumpkin. So I start to fill in my sky. So there's one pumpkin at a pumpkin patch in a beautiful field. So there's one way of drawing a pumpkin. Like I said, use your imagination and do it your way. Do it the way that you've seen pumpkins or the way that you want to represent yours. And be creative with it, have fun. Remember to put it on Seesaw when you're done, and then keep it in your art spot, because we're trying to keep all of our art together, okay? Keep all of your art together so we can keep it safe and we can look at it later on this year or even this quarter. Reminder, if you want to join specials teachers this Thursday at 5 o'clock, we're gonna watch the movie Coco. So Thursday, the 29th of October at 5 p.m. on my Zoom link, Miss Summerlin's Art Zoom link, we're gonna watch the movie Coco. If you wanna watch it with us, come watch it with us. We would love to have you. Bring your dinner, bring your snacks, bring your brothers and sisters or your family, and you can watch Coco with us. Otherwise, put up your pumpkins on Seesaw so we can have our own Seesaw pumpkin patch, and have a great, great week. Have fun, never give up, try your best, and always remember, love you. See you later, artists.